Some trails just keep calling you back like an old friend. Welcome back to Birkhead Mountain. Jim, it's almost in the very center of North Carolina near the town of Asheboro. It's about 5,200 acres of a very ancient mountain range. And it's just a wonderful place. It has several little campsites like this, which is really a nice little campsite. Not staying here, but we're going to go about 7 miles down to another stealth site that I'll show you. On a little side trail that will come back and intersect the Birkhead Mountain Trail. But just wanting to explore something a little different. Finding a lot of blowdown through here, so I'm guessing that it's not as well traveled. But we'll see if we can find some treasures out this way. Lovely day. About 75 degrees right now. Supposed to get on up into the mid 80s today, and then tomorrow it's saying mid 70s when the rain comes in. But next week will be in the 90s, so this is a good time to get out here. When you first come into the trail, you're ascending really to the top of this now little mountain through the millennia of erosion. These mountains have really been worn down, but they're some of the oldest mountains in North America. The Birkhead Mountain Trail is marked with these white blazes, very similar to the Appalachian Trail. I'm a fan of All Trails app for this trail. While I like gut hooks for major trails like the Appalachian Trail and Continental Divide, these trails less traveled are often found on All Trails app. And similar, you can check and see where you're at in relation to the trail. It operates off of GPS. The free version operates as long as you have Wi-Fi or a signal, but a telephone cell signal. But The Pro version isn't very expensive, and it allows you to actually download the map and operate much like GutHook without having a cell signal, just off a GPS. Carol Baskins killed her husband. Hope Carol's not out here tonight. Well, when I got back to the main trail, actually walking on the summit of Birkhead Mountain, the loop that I'll be hiking today and tomorrow sort of encircles the top of the mountain. The big climb is over for today, and then tomorrow, as I come up on the backside, then I'll once again climb back up. There's 3 trails. There's, I think Birkhead Mountain Trail goes to Hannah's Creek Trail, and maybe that goes to Robbins Branch, and that brings you back to Birkhead Mountain, and then I'll be going north again to the trailhead. It's about a 2-mile hike in from the trailhead to get to this circular hike, and then about a 2-mile hike back out. So 4 miles in and out, and about 8.5 miles walking around the top of the mountain. Just right for, you know, sort of an afternoon, spend the night, a morning to come back out. There's so many things here. There's some old abandoned gold mines here. I think there's about 3 of them. That in their day was a very high producing and very high quality gold in North Carolina. And then the gold here ran out just before the big gold rush out to California, and everything moved out west. So, fascinating place. It has old plantation had been here, and then it gave way to farms, which gave way to the gold mine, which then was broken up and sold off to private owners. And then in the 60s, the National Park Service acquired this land for a national forest. In 1986, I believe, Birkhead Mountain and uwharrie forest was declared a wilderness area. So, you know, no vehicles, no power tools, limited signage, and there is hunting here. Hunting's allowed, but apparently it isn't heavily hunted because you have to carry out whatever game that you take. Though I know a couple of guys that do deer hunt here, and they love hunting here, but they also don't mind the extra work of carrying their game out. It's peaceful. Just listen. Very quiet. Beautiful day. Signage out here. So, you know, just come up on this sign, going to keep going south on Birkhead Mountain Trail. If I turn down this way, we'd stop at campsite number 3. It's about 1.5 miles, maybe 1.1 mile it says. And then I've come 2 miles. The Tothead trailhead is 1.8 miles back up that way. So here we are at the junction of the Robbins Branch Trail and the Birkhead Mountain Trail. Tomorrow, we'll be back here again. We'll come up through the Robbins Branch Trail to this point and then we'll hike back up to the Tot Hill trailhead. For now, we're going to keep going down to the Hannah's Creek Trail, which is about another 2 miles down the path, and we'll turn back to the west on that trail just for a little while to a little stealth site and camp for the night. Here we are at Camp 5. I'm going to stop here, have some lunch. I was here the first time this fire ring was built. Someone's built a second one over there. I stayed in that little site just over there. It's really the best tent spot up here in this little campsite, although it looks like could be a good tent site right over there as well. It's just off of the trail, and this sign marks the Christopher Bingham plantation. It was built around 1780 here. It's marked, it's been posted by Boy Scout Troop 570. You know, the Scouts were very instrumental in preserving this area to get the federal government to declare it a national forest and a wilderness area. And they were also instrumental in blazing a lot of these trails through here. So thank you, Boy Scouts. Now we're heading down Hannah Creek Trail. We'll go down this path for a while, and when it'll cut to the right, go across the creek, and then we'll set up camp. Made it into the campsite for tonight. So I'm going to set up camp. But I wanted to show you, I'm not an expert at this stuff. This is the way through my times being out, that I start to come up with sort of a rhythm of how I set up camp. So the first thing I do is I look around the area, and I try to find some tent sites, possible tent sites. There's one right over there that looks pretty good. There's one right here. This one has a fire ring close by. I might start a fire tonight. When I came in to the camp area up through there, there was several, looked like they were pretty good tent sites. But out of everything, this is the one that has the most potential. But I don't know yet. So what I do is, when I find the one that I like the best, I lay out my ground cloth. This is some people call it the tent footprint. Some people call it a ground cloth, whatever. The idea is that it protects the bottom of your tent from any sticks or rocks or roots or thorns, and so it provides that protection. I use this piece of material that came off a roofing job, and what this material is designed to do, this rhino roof, is that it lets water soak down through the top. So if it rains, water would soak through this, but then it's got this material on the bottom that's designed to keep the water from coming up from below. So it provides a good protection for my tent. Well, I lay this thing out sort of the way that I would orient my tent. This ground, it's hard for you to tell, but it sort of slopes down this way, and slightly. I don't know if it's too much. That's why I laid this footprint out, and then I actually lay down on it to see if there's any hidden rocks or roots that I didn't find that I threw out of the way. I usually find some, but also to think about sleeping at night. tired of sliding around in the tent. So if it's too much of a slope, then I would look for someplace else, especially out here where I'm by myself. But let me sort of test this out, and I think it feels pretty good right now. This is a pretty good spot, but there's also something else that I do is I look up in the sky at all the trees that are around and see if there's any dead limbs or trees that aren't healthy that could blow down on me there in the night. Those things are called widowmakers, and if there's something there, I want to know about it, because that's where I would not spend the night. And I got set up, so there's my palace for the night. Just as I was finishing pitching my tent, that rain that was supposed to start at about 4 o'clock tomorrow morning decided it would start at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And it rained pretty good for about an hour. So I just crawled in the tent and took a nap. Now I'm going to go down, get some water, come back and fix dinner. We'll see what the rest of the evening brings. Well, as you can hear, it's raining out. It's been a really good day. It's nice to be back out here on this old trail. I'm going to sleep now and get up in the morning, finish this sloop. So for now, stay safe, stay healthy, stay on the path. God bless you, and good night.